So my name is Sean Chulbra, and my people are Girramay, Gugu Yalanji, Kalkadoon Pitta is my language groups. We're on my father's country, and his father was born here, and my dad's mum was born here, and we're on Girramay country. Our neighbouring group was Wargamay, Nyawagi Mob, and then you got Jiru over here in Mission Beach area. Then you got Jirabal and Gulnai, and then you got Warangu, and then you got Gugubara as languages. And all the language groups there, we speak similar language, but it just drops out a couple of words here and there, you know, that just phonetically might change or just a little bit of a dialect change. Oh! The diversity in landscape here is you're surrounded by ocean. You're right on the coastline. You have all these islands that run off into the reef. You have the Great Barrier Reef. You have turtles, crocodiles, dugong just feeding out here everywhere. And you have that whole saltwater element to it. And then you go, you know, just a couple of 100 meters inland and you've got freshwater creeks, waterfalls, lakes, lagoons, billabongs. And then you've got an alternative side of, you know, the freshwater fish, eels, you know, anything that you want to eat that side too. So we believe in Girramay folklore and culture. Our language and lands became about from a man who was called Girrigal. And Girrigal was a man, and he carried with him a bagor, and bagor is a sword, and he swam across here. And he stayed on an island about 30 odd kilometers away, and he left this island and he left these two wives there, and he jumped in the water and started swimming, and he put the sword between his legs so he can swim like an eel, what we call jaban. And as he's swimming and look up like this, he looked back at his island, and in Goal he ngongara, which means his spoken language, he said Balamija Bolgaman, which means that's my home there. And that island today is known as Palm Island. And he swam all the way across here, naming all the different islands. And as he got to Hinchinbrook Island, as we know it today in English, in our language, in Goal Buri, we call him Banjan in our language. And as he traveled there, a big gonjoy was Baninyung. A big thunderstorm was coming. So what he said was, he said Banjan. And Banjan mean him coming. He was talking about that storm coming. And as that storm comes through, the storm went through the back and all along the mountain ranges, and the thunderstorm stopped and went inside this cave. And they believe that's where the thunderstorm lives to this day. All our story names, my family story names are all along there from Hinchinbrook Island, from the rock right on top. That rock is from our oldest brother's Goal name. And our Goal means language and Buri means name. So my oldest brother Goal Buri, and he's just recently passed, his Goal name is Ganandali. And Ganandali is the giant rock that sits up on top of Hinchinbrook Island. The name carries his legacy, you know, his spirit, his energy, and just his memories, you know, live with us. So as I travel along, all the cousins, brothers, they all got names to do with storms, rain, hail, cloud formation, everything like that. And all my kids have these names here. You know, they use those names and, you know, that's the strength. And these kids have an identity. You know, they come here and they go, this is home. I'm named after that Hinchinbrook Channel there. Or I'm named after the ranges here, Yana Yana Range, you know. I'm named after all of that, you know. I feel connected here. There's a power in these names. There's a power in that language. The language is, you can't come here and you can't talk Waraja. Waraja means English. You can't speak Waraja language. You can't do welcome to country in Waraja. It's the wrong way. Part of language and have a name is power. And you have to address the language. in a language it recognizes, and the animals and everything that belongs here. And by speaking Goal, Aboriginal language, it registers. These aren't names, that come out of a book. These are names after this location of where my parents come from, my grandparents, their parents. These are like blood names, their direct blood and family originate from these names. I've been to France, New York, London, Scotland, all these sort of places. And not only just for dance and traditional dance, but I've also, traveled to these areas as a stand-up comedian as well, And that's what I do, and that's what I love doing, is performing, the stand-up comedy and the dancing. But what always draws me back home is there's no place, that has this for me, that has a connection. I'm right here on my grounds that my grandparents wandered around on, and my great-grandparents and that. And, I always come back here for probably the simple reason of just, you come back here just to ground yourself. It keeps you level-headed, and, that it works for me, like no matter what I do or where I've gone or who I've met, But at the end of the day, this is who we really are. When you strip all that away, you take that microphone away, you take all that glitter away and all that shiny stuff, and, the only shiny stuff is when you have that sun glistening on that ocean out there, or that sun in your eye or whatever, or that morning star or whatever, this is the reality. This is who we really are. You strip it all back and, we become, Morebilla, which means Aboriginal people again.